This time on Road and Race, I start work on fixing the first set of small annoying issues on the Boxster. In the last video, I investigated all the rusty brake lines on the car and started making new ones. In this video, I'm going to figure out why my electric seats don't work, fix the steering adjustment that's stuck, and sort out my two ruined car keys. So the next thought is this seat. This lever here should move the backrest forward and back, but just doesn't do anything. Now, could be a loose connection somewhere, easy fix. Could be a fuse, could be the motor, or could be something else. So let's start the easy thing and check connections under the seat. Let's get under the seat, see if we can find any disconnected wiring or harnesses or stuff like that. We've got a white connector up here, yellow connector here, the connector at the back there. Nothing looks loose, that's annoying. Right, let's check the fuse box. Luckily, Porsche give you a lovely little pull-out leaflet. Row E, seat adjustment left, seat adjustment right, E1 and E2. The fuses we're interested in, and A, B, C, D, E. So there's a chunky 30 amp fuses down here. Just around the passenger side, see if this seat works correctly. Yes. Okay. Let's pull the fuse for the driver's side. And let's use the fuse from the passenger side chair. See if that fixes the problem. Yeah! It'll be an easy fix. So I just need to order myself one of these. I should be able to adjust the steering wheel by pulling this lever down here. But it's really stiff and it doesn't want to budge. So let's have a look underneath and see if we can figure out why it's stuck. Here I am, literally lying on my back in the steering footwell. Here, up here is the steering adjuster. If I pull the lever, you can see that this end bit moves a little bit, but there isn't really anything going on. So what I might do is try lubricating in here and in here, see if I can get it moving. I've left the penetrating fluid soaking overnight. Has that fixed the problem? No. Right, time for plan B. So I'm back on my back under the car. Now, apparently what happens is this piece gets stuck. Some oxidization happens in here or something. You can take this whole piece off, but it requires taking the whole dashboard off. And I don't really want to have to do that. It's like the last resort. So I'm just going to gently try and get some pliers or channel locks in here and just try and ease it out. We'll see how that goes. Well, that didn't work. There doesn't really seem to be any way to grab this part here with some pliers or channel locks. Other people have suggested that tapping here, like a chisel and a hammer to kind of shock it loose, might help. I've tried that and it doesn't. So it's the lower dash that has to come out. Joy. We're following a few guides and a few forum posts. I've managed to get like 90% of the screws out. What I can't do is there's two screws holding this last lower piece in behind here because I've looked underneath. But you have to get this little steering wheel cowl off, and you can't do that unless you move the steering wheel forward, and that's the whole thing I can't do. So that's probably the definition of irony there, isn't it, really? But there is good news. I think I can get to the 4 bolts holding the adjuster on. So I've probably got enough room now to unscrew it. I'll show you. So I'm hoping I should be able to get the 4 bolts off this adjuster now and it should slide out. Here it goes. Here it is off the car. That feels good to get that off. I have to unscrew this little plastic nut. It's only finger tight. Then the whole thing just slides off. There are some metal pieces in the bottom. Keep those safe. So I've just got to try and free up this mechanism. I'm going to start by putting penetrating oil everywhere because I've got really good access now, so I can really get in all the nooks and crannies. So this bit here was at the top, and I've been using a chisel and lump hammer to kind of slowly edge it down. As you can see, we're slowly making progress. This bit here was all the way at the top, and I've got that much down. That much down. Let's keep going. So I've hit this whole mechanism back and forward a few times. It's got looser and looser and looser. And now, if you hit it gently on top like this, you can see it's all nice and freed up. So I'm pretty confident we can put this back on the car now. I'm going to spray a bit of silicone spray inside here just to help keep it nice and mobile in the future. So now I've got both Rake and Reach. Lovely. Just got to put the dashboard back together now. Here are the 2 keys I got of the car. This one here looks to be in a okay state, although this bit here is cracked and that bit there is cracked. This one's in a terrible state though. Look, the badge is worn off. There's a huge crack here. Basically the whole key just falls apart in your pocket. This one though does work. This one here doesn't. What I have done is change the batteries in both of them, and that's not made any difference. That one there is still, that one there is still broken. So apparently these keys can get out of sync. There's a process for that, but what I want to do is just try this housing on this key and see if that works. So let's just give that a go. No. And there's no red light here. If you put this housing on this one and press the key, you can see a red light comes on. So it's not the battery, maybe it's these contactors here. They're a bit flimsy, so let's just bend it back up a bit. See if that works. Hey, did you hear that? Right, so that was easier than I thought. Right, good to get that sorted. Now, that's one side. Here is a new shell, new key that the previous owner provided me. It's already got the actual key bit cut. What we need to do is transfer all the gubbins out of here. So inside this key, there's these 2 metal contacts, and this is the transponder, which also needs transferring across, and it's super glued in apparently, and it's difficult to get out, so wish me luck with that one. So transferring these 2 metal clips wasn't too bad. They pull out of a bit of wiggling, a little bit of manipulation, slot in. This little transponder that's super glued into this gap is quite fiddly and tricky to get out. I use some acetone just to dissolve the glue. It absolutely ruins the case as well. I don't know what melts, whether it's the glue or the case, but you can't reuse that afterwards. Anyway, this slots into this little gap here now. I'm just going to use a little bit of Gorilla Glue to stick it in, some of this stuff. Then I'll put the battery in and the lid back on and give it a test. I was quite lucky. I didn't have to transfer the actual key part of the key over, but if you do, then this little spring mechanism here should release it and you can swap it over. Right, let's test if it works on the car. Yes. Now all I need to do is source a little Porsche badge for in here. Much better. So join me next week when I continue to sort out the remaining issues by tackling the annoying crack in the windscreen, the seal rust, and all the additional broken things you guys have pointed out.